Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're jumping back in with a little bit more of Ghoulified Reality. We left off last time getting our butts handed to us, and probably don't see much different happening this time around. We're loading back in. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to load for us. It could load right before the town got attacked. I'm kind of hoping. All right, so here we are. Here's our character. One thing we did do, let's see. There it is. Look, we can block now. Um, we did remove the wheeler. All right. So D menu up and down will do something. Let's take a look at our inventory real quick. And then we have learned our lesson. We have surely learned our lesson. Okay, so you can see we have a lot less stuffs than we had before when we perished.
Come to Dawnstar at a strange time, friend.
Mm-hmm.
Seems everyone in the town is having nightmares.
Okay, thanks for the info. All right, so we got to go in here real quick. I think we already. Wait. Did I mine any quicksilver ore? One. Let's go in here real quick. So we're gonna go in and just take a look, see if because we may not have looted this place. And oh, we're right at our limit anyway, so we can't just yet. Let's look at our skills. I don't think we have any. Although we should have three that we've selected, right? Yes, there it is. One-handed, marksman, and evasion. All right, we're gonna go through real quick. I like that the light automatically comes on for us. Okay, so we did come in and loot. How do I know? Because, okay, because the stuff that would normally be there, we just didn't do any actual. So we could have taken that, but we don't have room or we don't have the inventory space to do anything about that. So we gotta go and fix that. Our carry weight is very depleted. Probably because we chose. We're gonna have to look, just double check. All right, so wrong one. Let's go ahead and check our settings real quick. Gameplay. Yes, I know. And survival mode is not checked here. Um, okay. So we'll look into that because now our carry weight is very depleted, and that could be um because of Requiem. So we can't do anything with those guys. See, I don't know how far back we are, so I don't know what we have checked and what we have not checked. All right, these guys called it a night. We probably can't. Oh, we can at least break down. We just don't have anything to break down. Something sounds very off. I don't know if that's the soundtrack or we're hearing something in the distance. How much money do I have? Oh, that's right. And if you probably haven't noticed yet, there's an auto loot function. So as we run past, you know, you see, you hear the you hear the wolf. Sounds like a wolf. Hey man, somebody's about to be attacked. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna save, and we're gonna look around here, and we're just gonna look. And that auto loot thing can be kind of dangerous. All right. So last time there was a big battle, not battle, but fight right here. And then we tried to join in and help, and we just made things worse. So right now, when we came across this way, there it is. That's a bear. Hello? Gosh, I need that, but I'm over encumbered now. Okay, being over encumbered isn't draining my AP or my stamina, which is good since it's very close. Let's see if we can get just right down here. And if we have to, we'll drop some stuff. Oh shoot! That means we gotta walk around. I like the auto light, the quick light, how it automatically comes on in the dark for us. That's pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna come over here. We might be able to, if we're lucky, we might be able to give ourselves 50 more carry weight, and we cannot. So if you're wondering why can we not, because the only things that we can break down, I'm gonna break that down so you can see we've just given ourselves one leather, and we can break that into 4 leather strips. But we did reduce our carry weight a tad, a tad. Um, there is no tempering stations around here that I don't know where they went to, but we need to unburden ourselves. And you can see as we walk, so we're not really going to steal. We're going to go and see what do we have that's, oh, that's got a good value to it. Too bad oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, I got all these pelts. Look at that price on that one. Okay, there's the steak. All right. I do. All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just stick that in here for a minute. Are you kidding me? How am I gonna?
By order of the Jarl, stop right there.
I put a pelt into the barrel. What crime did I commit? That is absolutely jacked.
I guess you're smarter than you look.
No, this game is absolutely fucked. All right. Hold on a sec. All right. So my tolerance level is extremely low. My annoyance level is very high. So, I mean, yeah, we could have just dropped it on the ground, but I don't ever recall it being a crime to store something in a container. Yeah, in the 6 to 7,000 hours that I've played in Skyrim, I don't recall ever it being a crime to store something in a container. So a little, that's got me little tweaked. All right. So luckily we saved right here. We already have pelts, so you know what? I really don't give a flying F, but I think I will help them kill it. I don't see anybody there though. Let's run. Oh shoot! Why? Nice. Good job. Good job. Oh, I get the bear heart and the claws automatically. We're not going to take the pelt yet. As a matter of fact,
It's a curse. It has to be. I've got to get out of this town. Irgnir, get a hold of yourself. They're just dreams. Please tell her, Erandur.
Listen to your friend, Fruki. They are just dreams, my dear. I assure you that it is quite normal.
It's the same dream over and over again. You think that's normal? It's evil, I tell you.
how much money I got?
Has a point. You keep telling us no harm will
It's
follow
going to cost
you.
me probably
They must
half
be
my gold
open.
to be able to
Give
sleep
him a
here
chance to
tonight.
speak. He's trying to help us.
Everyone, please. I'm doing what I can to end these nightmares.
Frost took my husband years ago.
All I ask
He was a good
is
man.
you remain strong and put your trust in Lady Mara.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, if I don't think there's a store here.
Against the bandits and wild animals of the Pale.
Did you ever have to fight off bandits, Frida? Like in your stories?
Why,
All right,
I once
you know what we're gonna do?
alongside your father when we were both younger. Saved
Hey,
him
Thorin?
from getting his full
Don't
head
worry.
sliced off.
Nightmares
God
don't
dang,
seem to happen
man.
for travelers.
Oh, dearie, it was so long ago. But I do remember the celebration we had afterwards. Mead never tasted so good.
All right.
You should quit working in the Eastern Mine. Legelf's no good to work for. Legelf is a good man.
Take
and
a
I'm not
healing
running out on
poultice.
him now.
See if that actually does
Well,
anything.
got a bit of interest.
And then we have to figure out. See, I'm not ready to throw survival on just yet. When it, for some, I just think once we throw in survival, our carry weight is going to go down to 60, 65. And I'm not ready for that yet. Well, one, I think it's BS, right? And then because it's like double jeopardy in a sense, right? Because Requiem has lowered our carry weight to 105. And then now um I'm gonna have to I didn't think auto loot would be a problem, but I get a sense that it will be. Alright, we're getting out of here.
Looking to hire a boat?
Yeah.
Where are you headed?
We're gonna go to Windhelm.
Climb on in the boat and get comfortable.
Thank you.
Dawnstar doesn't have much of a port, but the miners say it's got rich ore veins.
I hit the use ferry seat once already. So I figured if it's going to cost me a lot of money to stay at the inn, I might as well stay in Windhelm, where at least there's going to be several places where I can sell the stuff that I have, and then maybe even piece together. I think because it's going to be that book is going to be at least 250. Just the initial crafting book. Let's see what's in the crates here real quick. I don't think I can take. I don't think I could take much. The fact that they're practically empty is a little disappointing. Ooh. I will take that. And then we'll take that. Ooh. Increases disease resistance by 50, reduces stamina and magicka loss when hit by 50%, and prevents slowdown at low health. And then Undying Breath. You can breathe underwater, sprint easier, reduce lowered movement speed, and swing speed by 66% when low stamina. Recover from low stamina more easily. I'm equipping that. Oh shoot. What am I doing? Okay, hold on. I don't know why I did that. As a matter of fact, since we're right now while we're here, we need to find something. Okay, here we go. All right, look, bestiary of Skyrim. Seriously? All right, you as much as and what's this one? Whisperings of Treasure Troves. We're gonna have to store these things. Let's record as well. And that one, we're gonna have to store those there. Right now, we don't have. There's nothing we can do. We can't carry all that stuff. I have 26 salmon meat. How the heck did I get so many salmon meat? I'm just collecting. I'm sitting here as I'm standing on the docks. We are collecting salmon meat. Are you freaking kidding me? All right, hold on. Store. All right, let's get away from the docks because it's as they swim by, it's auto looting them. Snowberries. Holy cow. That was like 5 or 6 pounds of salmon that we just had to throw in there because we're auto looting salmon. All right, so sadly, we aren't yet. Now I'm checking for certain things. Now the little girl's gonna want to sell me some flowers inside here. I always buy. But that was just insane. We just standing there on the docks and just collecting salmon left and right. All right, so she's not here, which is okay. We need the salt. I mean, if it just has salt in there, I'm fine. All right. We'll take the jug of milk. And then we'll soon figure out the whole survival stuff. Hey, officer. Mm-hmm. Did I heal up on the trip over? I only have 158 gold. Why did I have more gold before? All right. I don't know if we're really interested in these turds messing with this woman.
Eat our food, pollute our city with your stink, and you refuse to help the stormcloaks.
Contaminating our city with your stink. Can you get any more racist than that?
Imperial spies.
Imperial spies? You can't be serious.
Maybe we'll pay you a visit tonight. We got ways of finding out what you really are.
I just want to hit both of them right now.
Do you hate the Dark Elves? Are you here to bully us and tell us to leave?
No.
You've come to the wrong city, then. Windhelm's a haven of prejudice and narrow thinking, unworthy of one such as you.
It looked like those guys were giving you some trouble there.
Nothing new there. Most of the Nords living in Windhelm don't care much for us, but Wall is the worst by far.
Yeah.
Likes to get drunk and walk around the Grey Quarter yelling insults at us in the small hours of the morning. Oh, a real charmer, that one.
Why would anybody think you were a spy, though?
Some of these Nords will come up with any excuse to despise us. And it isn't just the Dark Elves they hate. They make a target of the Argonians as well.
Yeah, it's
In
called
fact,
racism.
Just about anyone who isn't a Nord is fair game for their bullying.
Hmm.
All right, then.
All right, man. You be good. All right. We're gonna come over here. Usually, when I get into town, a couple of things I like to check, and then, God dang it. So, you see, there's hides in here, which is cool, and then, okay, wait. All right, ring of feather falling. Okay, we'll take that. We'll leave the hides there until we can actually do something with them. Scale boots, I think, is actually better than the ones we're wearing, so we'll go ahead and throw those on. We can leave that for later, and I'll take that one just right now. So, technically, we can search to create. Ooh, boy. All right, so we got barely enough room. Ooh, grants the spell summon bound bow. Ah, gosh. For now, I'm gonna take it just in case. But yeah, that was the straw. Straw meet camel's back. Mm-hmm. All right. So real quick though. All right. You see, we got all these rings. So you got absolute resilience for the necklace, absolute vigor. We got necklace of resilience. I think I want a ring of major lockpicking. Oh wow. See, the problem is, even though I have unlimited Skyrim unlimited rings and amulets, I think yeah, we're gonna learn that spell. And then I'm just gonna see if it was not the trick. Okay, we learned our lesson once already. We already learned our lesson once. So right now we know we can't do anything. We can't do anything. So we're gonna just throw those in here. Okay, for now. Just for safekeeping. Because we don't have the necessary what's the names. Here's what's interesting. So I run through here, right? So just say I run through here. Now, this is where it becomes it becomes cool, but then also kind of potentially an issue, right? Because the cool part is, you know how we go through and I'm constantly picking stuff, right? That's what I do. But as I run through the city, I'm gathering all of the stuffs, right? All of the flowers, which is nice, except, it messes with your carry weight. So I am constantly having to face that. All right, so we got 184 gold. I don't know that that's enough to sleep here. We may have to run down to Kynes Grove. We may have to run down to Kynes Grove.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the
To find ourselves a place to sleep.
This here's Candlehearth Hall. Great rooms upstairs, and there's a bed for rent on the ground floor.
Well, that's great. And as a matter of fact, I like to rent a room.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
All right, thank you.
I'll show you to your room. Right
Oh,
this
that's
way.
great. That won't be necessary, but it is also appreciated. Oh, hey, Susanna, don't you cry for me. Oh, Susan.
When she knows so little about them.
I know, right? But I'm gonna read this book. I'm not gonna steal it.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
That should have kicked off a quest. Excuse me. I like my privacy. Thank you. Oh, it's early morning already. We're only gonna get like a little bit of sleep. I could have sworn I saw somebody standing there. And here I was about to say, didn't I say I like my privacy? All right, let's get back out here. The place should be a little bit busy. Oh, let's do this. All right, well, first let's get away from the door so we're not clipping through ourselves. All right, so we got that. We got that. All right, here's the annoyance. So right now we have Ring of Major Lockpicking, right? So you have Summon Bound Bow, Feather Falling. I don't really see the lockpicking is probably that. So now we got the Vigor, we got the Undying Breath, we got the Absolute Vigor, and we have Absolute Resilience. And Undying Breath, you can breathe on. I think I'm going to stick with the Undying Breath, but it would be nice if you could. You see that? Now, one of the things that we would see, but we don't see, and I think that's partly a I'm not sure, but so it's kind of annoying because basically whatever's happening here is canceling out the unlimited rings and amulets mod. And I don't know how to overcome that. So it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's just, so I added a mod for no reason at all because it isn't going to work or do anything for me. So one of the things we want to do is we got to get some money first. So we got to see what we can sell Miss Naranye or Naranye.
I don't haggle. Take
Don't need you to haggle. All right, so just need you to buy my wares. All right, so we'll sell the more expensive stuff first. How much money she got? She got 160 gold. Seriously? That's it? I was able to sell her 2 items. If that ain't the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. All right. How much gold I got now? 191. Oh, she's got like some serious stuff going on here. Look at the prices. So, all right. So here's like immediately I'm looking at this and the first thing I see is, or the first thing that comes to mind here is the absolute ridiculousness of the pricing and how slanted it is one way over the other. And so for me,
Thank you.
the
Custom.
the economy mod that obviously is added in here, right? To me is janky. It is janky, jacked up, and just full of shit.
Assorted wares and tools you just love them.
Now,
Come and see for yourself.
and I think it's misguided because it I don't know what the intended purpose of the mod was supposed to be,
Wide range of assorted goods.
but you've just, if anything, in my opinion, you've just ruined the economy. You didn't improve it. You just ruined it. You unnecessarily made the game much more difficult. I can't blame it all on I can't blame it on Requiem. So like, okay, so we were talking about the double jeopardy before. So the double jeopardy that I was talking about was, okay, so Requiem is lowering your carry weight, and as soon as you turn survival on, that's going to also lower your carry weight significantly. Requiem has lowered your carry weight to 1/3 of what it should be, and then now if I turn on survival, it's either going to lower it by, lower it to 2/3 of what Requiem made it, right? Or it's going to lower it to 1/3 of what Requiem made it. So it's double jeopardy. You're getting your carry weight affected twice. Not, and to me, that's BS. It's like, okay, one's gotta do it or the other, right? Not both. And then so now you're starting off at a point where it's kind of like, okay, so I put shoes on, right? And the shoes, if I put shoes on and my shoes weigh a pound or 2 pounds, right? Technically, I'm not really experiencing that additional weight to myself. Technically, right? I got more weight, but it's not to the point where it's causing me to not be able to, function or move, right? So, you put on a pair of boots, they feel kind of heavy in your hand. You know what I mean? The weight that starts to impact you, right, isn't your clothing unless you're wearing weighted down clothing, and eventually you grow stronger as you're moving around in those. It's the backpack, right, that has a whole lot of weight on there. And the point of it is to, allow you to carry basically as much stuff in there and kind of counterbalance that additional weight so that you can comfortably carry it and move around with it. I'm not, so for me, it's like we haven't, we're, and again, it could be me that's overthinking it, but we are unnecessarily over killing the impact of carry weight and things like that. And at some point, when we get to this point where because of, and then I always say this, I said, because my issue is this. It's one thing to want to, I'm not going to take the bow. It's one thing to add difficulty and realism to the game, but it has to make sense, and it has to work together, and it has to work with the current game's mechanics. The mechanic of the game, the mechanics in the game. And so when I look at the inflated end prices, and here's my knock against that. For those of us that like history and like D&D and all those type things, when have you ever gone anywhere? And you're sitting down, you're playing pen and paper, and then someone told you, yeah, it's gonna be 150 gold to stay the night. When have you ever been in a campaign that you got hit with that? And me, I always say the reason why we're doing this is because we have basically learned how to, I can't even think of the word, but we've learned how to basically get out of the system a certain things at a certain speed, right? We go in, we gank the system to the point where we get more stuff than we're supposed to. We get more items quicker and everything. And then, so for what purpose? So that we can really quickly level up how much our character, how much stuff that we have, our wealth, everything like that. So we go through the trouble of doing all that, and we learn all these quick I can't even think of the words, glitches and exploits. So we learn how to exploit the system in order to get certain things that we want fairly quickly. And then we come back, and then for me and this is the thing I constantly say over and over again, it's kind of stupid and asinine to come back and say, to fault the game for allowing you to get rich too quickly when you've learned all kinds of exploits and glitches to take advantage of the game so that you can get rich quicker. It's a contradiction. It's hypocritical to fault the game for allowing you to get rich too quickly, and because of all the glitches and exploits you've used to get rich. And then so it's like, wait a minute, you're the one that exploited the game. You're the one that used whatever quick fix glitch to level up your character, or to, so it's like I'm OP too quick. I'm rich too quick. And then now that I'm rich too quick, I'm OP too quick. And it's like, well, how many thousands of videos are there out there? Here's what to do in the first 15 minutes of Skyrim. Here's what to do in your first hour of Skyrim. This is what you need to do. And it's all to do what? To maximize and level up your character.
You can meet. You're welcome here. Even if you don't, you're still welcome.
So it's all to maximize and level up your character as quickly as possible. But yet then we complain that it's too easy. And it's like, well, okay, don't do the glitches. Don't do the exploits. Instead, our genius, and I'm air quoting that, genius way of fixing that is to basically kind of nerf or drastically increase the price on everything, so that it's insanely priced and extremely hard to actually do anything. And I'm like, that's not a fix. That's not the way that you need to fix it. And I constantly, I think, and probably to my detriment, always say, like, look at the way certain games are, right? And even Crimson Desert, you can't loot the armor off of a fallen enemy. You can't loot everything off of their body. And one of the things that, we get mad about, and the first thing we try to rectify is, no, I need that. I want that armor. I want that loot. Because if that armor is better than what I got, I should be able to put it on. And it's like, if it's intact, fully intact, then maybe, didn't you just kill that person? Shouldn't that armor be beaten up? Shouldn't it be a little degraded? Shouldn't there be, where's the hole where the sword went in? You know what I mean? Or the axe. Where's the hole where the stab happened? The stabby. Right? So it should need repairs, if anything. Now, the thing is, so then we outrageously overpriced the inns. We overprice everything that's for sale, and then we nerf the selling prices for everything that you're trying. You know what I mean? And then so that's not how the economy works. That's not a legitimate fix to the economy, nor is it a
Here for work?
I am, if you get out of my way.
All the wood you can chop.
So then we're sitting here, and then you're like, wait a minute, 150 to stay at the inn. But if I sell this, I'm only going to get 15 for it. So it's 10 times the amount of money to stay at the inn for selling one piece of armor or whatever we're selling, a weapon. And then, so that means in order to stay at the inn, we have to find 10 weapons to sell. Right? But then to buy one, right? It's, if you sell something for 15 gold, and if you're looking to buy the same thing, it's going to cost thousands of gold. And I think that's where, for me, that's where the disconnect and the it's like, explain to me the thought process as to why that pricing makes sense to you. Right? Now, like I said, to make things a little bit more difficult, yeah, things should be more expensive, but it needs to make sense while it's being more expensive. And those price points that we're looking at don't make sense. They are not realistic, and you've failed to make it. I don't know if I actually got that spell, but you failed to make it closer to realism. I think you also failed to fix the economy, and you haven't really legitimately worked through the whole issues of the glitches that are possible. Now, yes, you made glitching and or using the glitches more difficult, but yeah, I know I saw that dwarven sword there, but it's extremely heavy. Now, so I think most economy mods, in my opinion, and just from looking at what they do, what they don't do, and the negative impact that they have, and and I'm going to say the negative impact to the realism of the game, it's very jarring sometimes to look at the pricing and the way certain prices are nerfed, selling prices are nerfed, and buying prices are so drastically increased. It's very jarring, and it's not realistic. So realism is out the window already on that. And then the disparity between selling prices and buying prices is so significant and has been increased so much that it absolutely makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? If I have something if I got to buy something that's going to cost 2,000 gold, and then I have that same item already, and I can only sell it for 20 gold, that makes absolutely no sense, right? So either there's a significant markup, right? Very significant markup. And we're not talking okay, so if you have 200, so at 20 gold, a 500% markup is going to make it how much? First thing that came to my head is 2,000. 500%. But that's not really true. It's 5 times. So that was the first thing that came to my head. But a 500% markup is 5 times the price there. That means it's only going to be 100 gold at 500%. So how much more of a markup do you have to go to get to 2,000 gold? How many times is 2,000 over? Right? So 5 times. So if you think about it, that is not typically the markup that people get. So here's where you lose the realism. I make something, right? And it costs me, say, $100 to make it. I'm not marking it up to $500. I could, but most people are going to be like, screw you. I'm just going to find something cheaper, or I'm going to make it myself. If it only costs you $100 to make it, generally my markup is going to be, in order for me to profit, I might sell it for 2. If it costs me 100 to make, I'll sell it for 2. And maybe 250 at the most, and I'm really pushing it there. Now, to sell it for 5 times what it cost me to make it, unless I'm, making something that's absolutely, and there's no competition out there, and so I'm the only source, supplier, then yeah, it makes sense. But there's no way I'm marking anything up 1,000%, 1,500%. 10,000%. And then, so something that costs $500, I'm going to go and I'm going to try to sell it, right? I now own it and I'm going to try to sell it. And you're going to give me $5 for it? I'm going to smack you upside the head with it. You know what I'm saying? Or what's a reasonable price if you're going to sell something that's worth $500? You know, we're trying to get at least half. And if our haggling skills aren't there, then maybe we'll get a third. But when we're talking that we're going to get less than 10% of the actual value for it, and in some cases, and in here, we're talking maybe only a percent. So we're nerfing things down, the selling prices down to just unrealistic amounts. And then we're raising the prices of things that just make it so that you can't afford, you would never be able to afford. I mean, now you're right. How quickly do we get to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 gold? But realistically, and this is the thing that I've said before, right? Who's carrying around 6,000 gold pieces on them at any given time? No one. So to me, the problem that we have here isn't the actual what the, you know what I mean, 1,000 for an item. I know it's magical, but nobody's carrying 1,000 gold pieces around on them. If we want gold to have a weight to it, we're carrying around 25 pounds of gold just for 1,000 gold pieces. No one's doing that. You're carrying around a chest. It's not in a, you don't, unless you have a bag of holding, you're carrying around a chest full of gold to get 1,000 gold pieces. So again, like I said, is the nature and the point of the game that makes things so when I see stuff like this, I'm like, it's not realism. It's not realism. It's not realistic, and it just totally it's so jarring that it really just it for me it's a trigger, and it makes it so that it's hard to play the game now, because when you see the unrealistic pricing, you see the nerfed selling prices, you see the insane in prices, you see all those things, and then you nerf the carry weight down, even though the way the game is created and made, the carry weight has to be higher just because of the nature of the beast, because of the things you're required to carry around with you. And if basically at some point you get to you get in, and it's not every list, but there are certain lists that'll have that perk in there, where once you get yourself to a certain level in your armor skills, right, your light armor or your heavy armor skills, that equipped items have no weight, but, and it's like, so the thing is, if we were smart or smarter, we would understand the mechanics and the dynamics of worn clothing and armor, and that even though a piece of armor in your hands may weigh 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, but equipped on your body probably only feels more like 10, and it's dispersed evenly across your body enough that the impact of it is lessened. So even though it may weigh 50 pounds in your hand, it may only be 10 pounds on your body. And then as you become more proficient at wearing it and things like that, it can be reduced to the point of 0, where you don't feel it at all. That's the smarter way to do it, and a more realistic way to do it. So that's one thing you can do with your carry weight, but it's very complicated, right? The gold thing. And what I mean by the gold thing is this, right? Hold on. I was trying to figure out how to get the dwarven greatsword without You see? So now what I got to do is unload a lot of stuff. And I have to figure out exactly what I can carry, what I can't carry. I'm going to drop the pickaxe for now. And when it's time for me to actually do anything and inside of a mine with the pickaxe, I will just have to find one. I'm going to store that there, that there. I have 2 of these. They got some good money value, but no one, and that's the other thing. So now we've nerfed the amount of money that the store people have, and that is also ridiculous. And the reason why I say it's ridiculous is because, wait a minute, they're selling items worth thousands of gold, and they only have 100 gold on them. You know, so basically they're not selling anything. They're not making any money. They're just standing around with all this fancy stuff. And they're not managing to sell a single thing. So, right? Because, I mean, technically they sell one item and they're loaded or should be loaded. So it's kind of, and you see here, so I turn off wait for gold, and yet we have a coin purse here, and it still shows that there's weight to it. So the more gold we have, right? So we have 270 gold. It says it's only, you know, a third of a pound. I'm saying pound, but weight, right? One weight. So at this rate, you know, it looks like about 800 gold would equal 1 pound, which I don't know about you, but we know that's not accurate. That doesn't even make sense, right? Just get a jar with 800 pennies in it, and you tell me how much that only weighs a pound. And then, so basically, if we were carrying around, so 5 pounds would be 4,000 gold. Now we saw an item that was worth 14,000. So if we had enough gold to purchase that, right? So 4,000 gold would be 5 pounds. 14,000, right? Gold. So 15,000 gold. That would be what? So 5 pounds for 4. 15 pounds for 12. And then 20 pounds. So we're carrying around 20 pounds of gold for 16,000 gold. Who's carrying around that much? And then where's that being held at? It's definitely not in a purse. That ain't holding 20 pounds. You see what I'm saying? So this whole thing that we're trying to do, and you know, for the sake of realism, is falling very short. And that's where, to me, it's just where I have the biggest problem. All right. I don't know. See, the problem is I don't have enough stuff to weigh. You know what I mean? I'd basically have to leave every single thing I got in order to get myself down. So, in truth, is either the sword or the axe. So, we got to pick the axe. I'm sorry, not the axe, the sword, the great sword. And guess what? We're not even trained for that. So right now I carry it around. I don't have anybody to sell it to. How you doing? We got to sell the what's the names. So not to get on a soapbox and say just how janky I just have a major problem with, because, and here's the thing, we know that a lot of times these teams, they really do look at the economy in the game and try to figure out ways to optimize it. And for some reason, we seem to think we know better than what they have, a team that actually
Mining
takes
is
a look
hard
at that.
work, but we pay a fair price for any ore you dig up.
Yeah, I got malachite to sell.
I'll buy everything you've dug out.
Well, thank you. I think that just gave us a bunch of gold. 720 gold. All right. Thank you.
Aye.
All right. So we got a decent amount of gold now. I just don't know what that's going to do for us. Okay. So they spend all that time trying to figure out how to optimize the economy, and then we just blow it up. And I think we blow it up without serious consideration to what we were trying to accomplish in the first place. When we always talk about, so the accomplishment is, are we trying to make it more realistic, or are we trying to nerf the ability for someone to use glitches and exploits to get rich quick and then come back and complain that they got rich too quick, right? Because at some point, again, it's like, well, we have to you have to call people out for BS. It's like, wait a minute, did you get rich too quick because that's just the way the game is designed, or did you get rich too quick because you used exploits? And then for me, the two games I think really that stand out for me right now is, one is because it started out, you couldn't loot everything off of a corpse. And we modded that in so that you could. Right? So that kind of, if you think about it, that defeats the whole whatever the developers had in mind for the economy. We just immediately defeated that, because we said, no, we're going to take everything off of this corpse and we're going to sell it. And then we get mad because the selling prices, all of a sudden we're looting, you loot 20 corpses, and then you got this insane amount of gear you're selling, and next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I done sold all my stuff, I got way too much money, my equipment is maxed out, I'm OP as heck, right? My ship is OP, and all it took was me to land on one planet, go raid a couple of places, and just get all this gear, right? That's all it took. Well, yeah, because you built that in there. You went against what the developers originally decided. And then, like in Crimson Desert, I haven't seen anything yet. I've only played 2 hours of it, and right now I don't have a whole lot of gold. I don't have a whole lot of anything. It is a slow burn in the beginning, right? Because I've really just am still working my way through the tutorial of it. But right now, I can see that if somebody goes in and mods the ability to get the armor and stuff off of other people, and so that we can sell that, then the next thing you're gonna like, wait a minute, it's too easy to get OP too quickly. And it's like, well, that wasn't the design of the game. That wasn't the intention of the game. We changed that and added that fact in. So, and then now what we've done is, I don't want the term is overcompensate. And so that's what I see with these economy mods or changes to the economy that grossly overprices everything, and then nerfs all the selling prices. And what we end up doing is, watch, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to talk to, I think his name is Nedris.
Listen to you. It's not that simple. Ulfric
Right.
wants Skyrim for the Nords.
Sadris. That's his name. Sadris. I had something. But
Take a good look around.
so
I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If
oh, it's
not,
Revan.
let me
Revan
know.
Sadri.
I might have it stored away.
Hello.
All my goods are legitimate, which is more than I can say for some.
Hey, nothing in here is stolen, right? Nothing?
Of course nothing in here is stolen. Only a careless, shameful, idiotic fetcher would do something as stupid as to buy pilfered goods.
Okay.
By Azura, I've made a terrible mistake. I bought a gold ring, and Viola Giordano has been missing a ring that looks just like it.
Tough luck, bro. I guess I could return that ring for you.
It's not that easy. She'd go to the Jarl if she knew I was even remotely involved. You have to get it to her some other way. Look, it's dangerous. But if you sneak the ring into her house, put it in a dresser or something, I will make it worth your while.
All right. Well, who supplies your goods, right? The goods?
I've scraped this collection together by whatever means I could. I do some business with the trade caravans, and I've picked up a number of items from adventurers like yourself. A few intrepid souls even brought some items back from Morvenskar, the fort southwest of the city.
Okay. Well, what you got for sale?
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Okay, so let's look and see what he has. So, I look at these. A mace. An iron mace. 474 for a war axe. Unfortunately, I don't have the war axe on me to compare. Okay? But I'm looking here and I see a steel sword. So, if I'm looking, and then unfortunately, since it is favorited, I can't, it doesn't pop up as something I can sell. All right, so for comparison purposes, all right, so copper and moonstone is copper and sapphire. For a cloak, let's see what he's got. Let's see if he's got anything remotely similar. Every single one of these, 1,800 or 1,100 gold. 13K. 13K. All right, so this resist magic, right? Just 12% resist magic, right? Helm of Undying Breath. 16% lower, right? Necklace of the Squire, 3,500. Let's look at our stuff. So, 28 gold. How much was that helm? 1,300 gold. How much is our necklace? And look at by 66%, while the helmet was only 16%, right? $4 for the fur. Does he have anything? 900 for hide. Studded hide. 900. So, and look at this one. So it just, scale bracers are 400 gold. The scale boots that I have equipped are 4 gold. Is that 1,000%? Is it? Or I will say this: it is more than 100 times 100 times. The buying price is 100 times the selling price. And I'm going to assume that the boots and the gloves are roughly about the same price. So again, that's where we run into issues. And then here's the other thing too is if we look at his list, right? And we look at the most expensive things. But he has less gold on hand than basically 90% of his product cost. Does that seem right to you? Look at this Dunmer outfit. You know what I'm saying? He has less gold on hand than, I mean, really, the only things that he could afford in his own shop are these things down here, right? These 6 items. Out of all the, and this is just this one piece here. Look at this. These 5 items. So he couldn't afford any single thing here. He couldn't afford a single one of these. So again, that's why I say, to me, it's ridiculous. Look at this. Bear heart, ice wraith teeth. Blue butterfly wings. Do we have blue butterfly wings? Did I pick any? Did I pick any? Nope. All right. Let me see what he's got. I think I have some of those, don't I? Are you telling me I don't have a single Mora? Are you kidding me? How do you not have some of the things that I have? Or how do I not have any of the things you got? Salt, 41. Seriously? Seriously? Look at the prices of the tomes. Blacksmithing of Morrowind. That's what I need. I need to talk to the blacksmith. But I need some gold first. All right. Iron ore. 36 for iron ore. I don't have either of those. Corundum ingot. If I had one. But look at this. Okay, amethyst. 100 times. The markup is 100 times the sell price. God dang, man. It's almost to the point where it's like, seriously, I can't even justify selling anything because the markup is so bad. Or it's so nerfed. If it wasn't for the fact that I need, you know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna get rid of that. I need the cash. It's just incredible. So again,
Don't let Viola get you in her house.
so again, that's where for me, I think once we complete his little request, if we do it correctly, we can come back in here and at least loot the crates, right? For anything that's 25 gold or less. But that's where it's like, to me, it's like, yo, dude, the markup here So we can come up and we can talk to her straight up, right? The other thing that we can do is, since we know she's over here in the gray quarter right now, so we know where she is. Let me press and hold this. Did we manage to turn the light out? Maybe I had it on the whole time, just didn't realize. Okay. Well, let me do this first.
Everyone says Yorland Greymane is the best smith in Skyrim. I plan to change a few minds about that.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
The finest weapons and armor.
All right. So, in the introduction to Malachite, you freaking kidding me? Watch. Craftsman manual. Thank goodness. All right. That's the only thing we can afford. But, with that,
whether it's armor you need or a new blade, come see me.
What else? All right. So, okay. Let's come over here. Let's see if that changes anything for us. It does not. It did not, and it does not. Okay. Not sure. Did I have to double check because I might not have any on me. And yeah, I don't have any on me. I don't. Oh, but I think I put them over here, right? Did I put them over here? All right, so let's grab these real quick. Hello. God damn it. All right, so until we can and we have enough experience to move up to bigger and better things, we're not going to be able to do anything. She's already we already took all her money, so we can't do anything there. So for right now, to me, I'm going to say that I got to go back to the mine. As much as I love having this, I think I have enough carry weight. I still have enough carry weight that I can go grab the axe. I don't think I'm yet able. Did I turn this? I don't think I've turned this off. Or at least I don't think I can turn it off. I think it's automatic. We got to go back to the mine and grab the axe, and then we got to go out. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do. And the problem is, everything that we're facing right now, all the kind of the struggles that we're facing as far as like carry weight and things like that, they're counter to the actual mechanics of the game. Okay, so right now, we want to level up. We want to increase our level. We want more money. We want to become stronger because right now we are weak as all get up. And the only way to level up and get stronger and improve our equipment, right, is to go out and make money. And the only way to make money in Skyrim is to do bounties and, stuff like that. I mean, we can gain experience by killing creatures, but we can't kill creatures until we start leveling up and gaining more experience and better equipment. And when we kill these creatures, we can't bring back their loot because we can't carry it because it's too heavy. So then we can't make money off of the loot that we get off of these creatures. Do you see what's happening now? So now we go out, we kill a bear. We can't do anything with his pelt because we don't have the experience or everything, whatever's necessary to make it work. Okay. And then we can't get more experience so that we can pick, the correct perk. So then we can actually I'll take that. All right. So it's kind of like this never ending just banging your head against the wall at this point, right? Because again, like I said, in my opinion, I don't know that there was really anything truly wrong with the economy. So once you sell malachite ore to Kjeld, then you can basically loot. Oop, wrong button. Loot these crates, and if they have anything worthwhile in them. Now the cool part is, and then we're gonna do this real quick. And again, you can see we're constantly going through, and
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat.
so we are looting as we go. So we can take the elves here now. We can do that, which is cool. We could take the meat if we wanted to. We can actually take the bread. I think currently I'm looting all these things as we pass by them. So we're getting tons of rabbit. We're getting all the, I don't think we're looting the rabbits. I think we're looting just the garlic.
I'm sorry. He can come off a bit rough at times.
All right, we just looted something. But I get slaughterfish scales. Now the cool part is let's just go to first person to get this stuff. We can take the coin purse. Because remember, gold is only worth 1 gold each. So it's just laying around for us. We can take the egg. And then we can take, see this cheese? We can't take because it's worth more than 25. We can take this one. We can't take that one. We can't take that one, but there's a slice over there that we can take. Now we can take the wine if we wanted to. Real quick here, we can read or take these books. We're not going to try to. And then look at this. We can actually just sleep in the bed. That, I never seen that one before. That being the thing. But we're kind of like friends. And then look, we can come in here, take the gold. We can't take the pelt, but we can take the gold. And we can take the Blackbriar mead because it's right at 25 gold. So, I'm trying to remember which inn. I'm just taking a couple of loaves of bread. I think we're right now the maximum. Okay, so it's not this inn. I thought. All right, we're gonna take the salt though. Salt's worth 41 gold. We gotta take salt whenever we find it. Because salt is required for cooking. I don't know if we can cook here. Can we cook here? Yeah. All right, cool. We're going to do some cooking real quick. Oh, only thing we can do. All right, we got some salmon steaks. Now, right now, I don't know, since we haven't turned, and then I don't want to turn survival mode on and then have to turn it off immediately because it tanked our game like instantly. Where are we at? 104. So yeah, we better. So right now, if we were to go out and kill anything, right? If we go out and kill anything, there's nothing we can bring back with us. So the only thing we would be doing is just going for experience, right? And with this auto loot, we're soon gonna over encumber ourselves. Dang, we just got a bunch of stuff. I just want to see what. I just want to do some action here, just real quick. Once we slow down, then we know we got too much stuff on us. There's some wolves around here. We can try fighting them. I don't want to fight the dragon. Not dragon. Giant. That's for sure. God dang it, man. I hear them. I just don't see them. Or was that the giant? Okay. Well, that sounds like a troll. Could be a giant, though. So, yeah. Why am I running around with my weapon out? That's why. Who's shooting at me? Oh, shoot! Okay, I'm tired. There's nothing I can do. Healing poultice. God dang it. God dang it. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen. And there we have it, guys. The shadow of death has fallen upon you, ending your life before you could fulfill your destiny. Please open the menu and load a previous save game to continue. I think this is it for this list. And the reason being is because 3 hours into it now, we're not progressing. I stupidly didn't save, so unless it automatically saved when we left the inn in Kinesgrove, I've got to wait. I'm gonna go. It's gonna take me way back. And then one of the things it's going to do is once I decide to save, is going to. So if I go in here and then see right here, I don't know why it's not letting. Okay, maybe it will let me load. So luckily, it did save as we auto saved as we left the inn. That's pretty good, but you guys just sat here and really just listened to me on, drone on and on and on about how effed up the economy is here, just how poorly that's done, and just the how negatively I believe it impacts the game. And also with all that, and then just how badly the carry weight is nerfed from Requiem. Let's do that. We're gonna do that. This is gonna be a thought experiment, and of course, this is what it does. So I'll be back once it's finished reloading, or maybe I'll just stay. And then so real quick thought experiment here, not a thought experiment, but we're gonna just test it out. We're gonna see if I'm correct. And what are we talking about me being correct about is when I turn on survival, it will drastically reduce our carry weight. And I'm thinking it's going to reduce it to the point where we have to just basically shed everything. And I honestly think, and then remember, when you're looking at the game, you have to also think about the dynamics and the mechanics of the game itself. And you got to put the whole BS realism argument aside, because if we were doing all this stuff in the real world, there's a way we would do it, right? We can carry multiple weapons on us, right? And we do it because, again, the weight is distributed evenly or distributed enough across how we wear the item that it doesn't truly bog us down. And then we have things with us, backpacks, other certain bags, right? And then right now, we don't have to carry money, coins, right, or gold on our bodies, right? And in paper money is way less. But if we were, if you were to expect us to carry, we can carry around a couple of stacks of, 10,000. But if we really truly had to make a purchase of say 40, 50,000, what are we carrying that around in? We're not carrying, it's not going just in our pockets. So the whole realism thing is kind of just a stupid argument, and kind of a it's a weak one. Not stupid. It's just a weak one. Whereas if you look at the mechanics of the game and the way the game is intended to work and to play, and the necessities that you have, it just, you know what I mean? It's like you're doing all this counter to the way that the game was intended to be played and the way it needs to be played. And then so right here, we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go into settings, gameplay, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on survival. And then I'm gonna come out of this, and we're gonna see what happens. Again, I don't know. I honestly don't know what that's gonna do for us. It didn't change our carry weight yet. So now, and everybody's like, well, yeah, it's not going to. That's not true. That isn't necessarily true. So now we got cold and whatever's going, right? So I'm gonna go in here, and then you can see. Let's go over here. So now everything has a warmth value, right? And everything is gonna weigh a certain amount, right? I got Viola's ring, and that's what I forgot. I should have been returning her ring to her. And part of me, there's nothing in the crate here. All right, so it's a little cold. We're gonna go inside. It's gonna warm up a little bit. And then one of the things I do when I'm, and the reason I like Heinz Grove so much is temporarily. This isn't a long term thing, but temporarily, you see how we've already put stuff in here. And then this is kind of cool and good to note is we can see what the prices would be for certain items here. So we've already gone ahead and said, all right, let's put some stuff in here. I truly believe, right? For right now, I'm going to have to put that there. Right? And then I also truly believe that there's no way I'm going to be able to. All right, so that's 10. All right, so I'm going to drink one of those. I don't know what they do, but we're going to see. So I'm going to put these in there for now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. And all right, so I'm going to store that. I know I'm storing all this stuff just as we turned on. I'm going to store that, and I'm going to store these. And all right. Now, all these, the cool part is there is a mod that makes these not weigh anything. So we're not facing any issues there. Since we've used this already, I'm gonna put that there. We've already read that, so I'm gonna put that there. Thank you for sending word of Skyslick's fate. He was talented apprentice. Who's Savo Samurai? Oh, Archmage. Okay. Oh yeah, we found that right outside the what's name. Okay. All right. So now I have a goat hide. I'm gonna store that. I have a bear. I think we can hold on to that for a minute. And we'll put that away too. So we can see that almost 1,000 gold now weighs. So you can see 1.23. And right now our 17 arrows are weighing almost 2.5 pounds, right? Not okay. And then I don't like that lockpicks have weight. Okay. It's minor, but in this game, and then here's the thing, right? The requirement of this game is either you're going to end up having to carry around 30, 40, 50 lockpicks. So we're saying that we're going to have to carry around 2, 3, 4 pounds of lockpicks with us. You know what I mean? Okay. So we just got rid of all that. I'm going to go ahead and eat something. And then I'm going to go ahead and eat that. Now, what I'm concerned about is nothing said anything about how many points of hunger it reduces. And that kind of concerns me because it said I was hungry. So let's look. I am still hungry. So we just ate the whole thing of, we ate a bowl of soup and that didn't do anything for us. I'm peckish still. So right now that's going to affect us. So let's go back in here and we're going to eat one of the salmon steaks. Now, it doesn't say either that it reduces any points of hunger. All right, so I ate that. I don't see anything popping up here saying you're less hungry. Let's go back to magic. And this is a concern because it's not tying in, right, with the food. We saw that the cold and warmth thing was working or was doing its thing, but now we're not seeing. Ooh, potato. Okay, we're just taking the potatoes in case we can eat those. And then, so as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the potatoes. Consumed out of combat, it restores 5 stamina and magicka. Its raw taste is revolting to anyone but those with a strong stomach. Okay, that's not true. Have you eaten raw potato before? I have. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drink one of the milks too. All right, and then we're gonna double check. I am still peckish. All the stuff that we've eaten, I am still peckish, and nothing is happening for our hunger. That has always been a major thing for me with Skyrim and survival and certain, you know what I mean? And I don't know what's causing that. I'm not pleased by that. But it's not okay. I am going to do this though cuz I want to see if there's a way to reset. A little bit. So I'm going to go in here. Because I don't know if you have to sleep and then let it kick in, the survival mode stuff kick in.
Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
All right, hold on. This bed is yeah, just for an hour. All right. So one thing it has not done, and I'm not willing or ready to say that it won't. I'm kind of concerned that it may at the, all right, here we go. All right. It may at the most inopportune time. All right, snack. Armor rating increases by 60 for 90 seconds. I'm sorry, not 90, 900 seconds. 60 goes into that. What? 360, 720. So that's 12. And then 720, 900 is 180. So what's that? 12. 180, that's 3, that's 15 minutes. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. Not bad at all. So where it's cool that we can eat certain things or certain items to help improve our armor rating or refresh of this, replenishing our stamina and stuff like that. Great. But right now we're at that point where we're not seeing the, what does this one do for 900 seconds? We're going to do that. So it's a snack. And then what I want to do is look, so we're still peckish. So it's not tied in or doing anything. All right, so our armor is higher. Our health should be higher as well. Yeah. Oh, is that daggone spider? Hold on. Maybe. Oh, shoot. Dang, I was just standing around, huh? I don't know. Okay, there we go. Nice. Ow. Don't I have resistance to... God dang it, I suck with the bow. Okay. That's another thing I really don't like about... It's like you get hit one time. Ow. Stop hitting me. We're running, but we got no stamina. My stamina should be refreshing faster. I can't tell you if he's behind me. I think my health is refreshing. Okay, so... Oh, come on. Tell me that elephant got him. That mammoth got him. All right, hold on. See if that helps out at any. And then let's go with that. All right. I think the 1 out of 4 is our toxicity. Did you get him? You got him. Thank you. Thank you. And then look at that. We got a wolf heart, a venomous spittle. Okay, so right then and there, we learn right off the bat, we are not strong enough to fight a spider. And again, the question is, how do we get strong enough? But thank goodness for the giant there. So we got 6 experience for something. I don't even know. Did we already have that? And what do you got in there? Those, yep, those are mine. I hit it twice? Wow. I was not expecting that. All right. I don't know that I'm poisoned. I'm still hungry. Yeah, I think I have frost resistance. I'm refreshed. I am warm. I have resistance there. I have undying breath. And then, all right. So what we need to do is double check this. You see, our bow is gone. Okay. So I'm not on board with that. That if you get hit, not only does your bow get unequipped, but you lose it. Did it destroy the bow? Is that what it did? And for me, it's kind of, I think it's overkill. Overkill on the penalty, right? I'm not on board with being disarmed in the first place, but even if that's what it is, the end goal is just, yeah, you're gonna be disarmed. All right, then I'm disarmed. But then either the bow is either on the ground, right, so that I can find it, or just is back in my inventory because you disarm me. No, we're not on board with is gone. Is gone. So, and I didn't see, and then again, I'm too busy trying not to die. So I didn't see the message that came up that said your bow was destroyed. So now what we've done is we've lost our bow. We are down a weapon. And like I said, I think we're dealing with too harsh of penalties. So, and this may be the game. This may be a list that's fine for some. For me, and that's where we're back to now. Is I'm going to say the cons, right? If you look at the pros and the cons, the cons heavily outweigh any of the pros that I've come across, right? I like the way the character model looks, right? I really do like how my character looks. I like this. I'm not even mad at the armor and how it looks. It looks good to me, right? The cloak, um, the fact that it doesn't tie in and add any warmth, right? The fur course, the warmth for it is is unacceptable, right? Fur is the one that gives you the most warmth, and 27 is just awful. The fact that this gives you no warmth, that is awful, right? Um, I'm not mad that it didn't reduce my carry weight. I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay and in good, because had it hit my carry weight again a second time, then I would have been very annoyed by that. So that's good. Um, it's got Requiem. That's a catch 22. So that's both a con and a pro, right? Requiem, I like Requiem. I've always liked to try to play with Requiem, but it feels like we're dealing with the harshest iteration of it. Like, if you can make adjustments and make it do certain things, I think this is the hardest and the worst um of it, right? So this is the worst version of it. Uh, but I think that's because of the 3BF tweaks and not just Requiem. So I think there's a bunch. I think there's stuff that is piled on top that are making things even more harsh. I think um, it's very disingenuous in the treatment of the economy and what the expectations are there, and the what I assume, and then that's never good to do, but what I assume the reasons behind why certain things are done. So the economy, the selling prices versus the buying prices, 100 times is ridiculous. 100%, 2,000% ridiculous and asinine. The only word that comes to mind for me is that is completely asinine. And then whoever created that and put that in there should be ashamed of themselves. It's just absolutely stupid. And I stand on that. The So that disparity there, that's a huge con. And it's such a con that it puts it almost to the point of where this mod list, in my opinion, is unplayable. Um the carry weight nerf and how badly Requiem does it and everything like that, I'm not on board with it either. And then I think it's counter to basically the intent and mechanics of the game itself. And I think it's contradictory to what what the expectations are for leveling and becoming stronger and things like that. So, and in truth, if I were to wear a set of steel armor right now that weighs what, 40 pounds, that's almost half. That's 40%, 40, yeah, about 39% of my carry weight. So more than a third of my carry weight is just in the steel armor that I'm wearing. Doesn't even include the boots, the gloves, and if I was wearing the hat. All them together would be half my carry weight. So half my carry weight is what I got on my body. And so the expectation of carrying around any kind of gold, any kind of ammo for bows, and then if I was going to go ahead and say, okay, well, I'm going to carry around a greatsword. Okay, that's 25 weight right there. Right? So that dwarven greatsword is 25 carry weight. So 25, 40, another 5, right? So 50, 75, and then a helm 4. So 79 out of 105 of my carry weight is just my armor and one weapon. If I carry a shield, what's the shield weigh? 5 or 4? 5. So now my shield, and then if I'm carrying actually a heavy shield, that's 12. So now 91 out of 105. So now I can have 14 pounds of extra stuff to carry around. So again, it's very counter to the dynamics and the structure of the game to do so. And then the thing is, we simply think we know more than what the developers know, or we think they screwed up. Whereas more than likely, it's like, well, they've sat down over the course of how many years it took them to create the game and said, yeah, we got it. The carry weight has to be 300. It has to be. And then why did they say it has to be that much? Well, because you can't do anything in the game if your carry weight is significantly less, or you know what I mean. And if it's significantly more, then it becomes it borders on OP. Oh, okay. So you have to sometimes trust that they have people sitting there doing the same thing, trying to think through the same thing. Well, what should the sell prices be compared to the buying prices? Well, that depends. And then, like I said, based on how they design and create the game, this is a worthy or a reasonable markup and markdown, right? So this is reasonable. In the real world, usually there's not going to be 100 times the markup for compared to selling. And and we know this. So again, we are sitting here, and like I said, it to me, those facts alone, right? Not how hard the game is or how hard the combat is, because I mean, you just have to get better. But those things are very jarring and immersion breaking. 100%, 1,000%. And at only thing it does is by the time you're done with a 1 hour, 2 hour session of playing the game, you're just absolutely 100% frustrated and annoyed. And so, no, this isn't my least favorite, but it is one of them. I've played it. I think it's Legends of the Frost that I was confusing Septimus with. And I have that one. I still even have it. And I went in and I played it, and then I rage quit in frustration with the list. I believe that is the one. But there are other lists out there that just absolutely suck because of what people have done or persons have done in the list to make the game just god awful. So here I'm sitting here like, okay, and then for the type of player I am, this list is not conducive to what I want to do and how I do things. So again, that's where we're at. That's the importance, right? You look at a list and you say, okay, what type of player am I? What do I like to do in the game? What do I want to do in the game? Does this list support it, or is it counter to it? And then pretty much most of the things I like to do in the game, this list is counter to that. So I am 2 thumbs down on this list. So this is it. And I feel, and it's kind of sucks because, I like the feel and look of it, right? It seems pretty stable. So everything is pretty stable. It's running, it's not a huge list. It's, you know what I mean? My complaints is the overall mechanics inside the list, what it does to the game. The 3BFTweaks, I don't like at all. The economy, right? Is that part of the 3BFTweaks? Is that also being tweaked by that? Whatever is being done to the economy and the end prices, there's tons of lists that go with that whole end thing. And I know I could probably just go into the MCM and readjust or turn that off. But just for the fact that I have to waste my time to go do it because of some, blind or what's the word? Just some, and I can't even think of the word right now, but just misguided. That's the word. Misguided attempt to nerf or modify or readjust something to make the game harder is sad, and it's annoying, and it's like, why do I have to go in and do that? And then again, we have to make the assumption that all the people that put these lists out, they're playing these lists, and this is exactly how they like the game to go. And I just sit and I shake my head. More power to you. If you like the prices that you're seeing, but please don't tell me that seems more immersive and more realistic, because it is not. It doesn't even begin to be realistic or immersive. Because back, for all of you, and you guys will agree with me, for all of you that have played actual pen and paper and D&D, you know that 14,000 gold is, I don't know that I've ever come across anything with that value on it. You know what I mean? And what a windfall it is to find a diamond that's worth 1,000 gold. What a windfall it is. And then most likely, and the way that we've done things and the way you do things is you have your coin purse, with a few gold, a lot of silver, and a lot of copper, right, in it. And you have some gems, and you have a gem purse. Why do you have your purse with your gems in it? Because if you do need to make a big purchase, what do you pull out? You'll pull out, if you're lucky enough to find a amethyst or a ruby or a sapphire. You're like, oh, we're going to clean up now. And then you can use that in your bargaining and trading to what? Lessen the amount of gold and silver that you have to provide because, okay, I want to buy this, this, and this. Okay. All right. Well, I got a couple of rubies here that I found. Oh, no, really? Yeah. What are you willing to give me for these rubies? Right. And then that will cut into either the price of what you're looking to buy or even significantly. And you still get, okay, well, I'll give you, 50 gold each for it, right? Or 25 gold each. Okay. And then that you didn't try everything that you're trying to buy isn't going to be 50 gold. You're not ever buying that much. Gold is like, you know what I mean? That's like $100 bills. If you're really thinking about it, right? So one gold is like a hundo, right? And in silver are like, tens, and then coppers are like ones if you really want to compare. So when you're buying something like a healing potion, right? If you're buying like, three, they might sell you a healing potion for like 2 or 3 gold a piece because that's how valuable they are. So the way that this game is doing things is so jarring, but that's a whole other topic that we can get on about just the whole economy of games and how the economy works in games. But again, so yeah, 2 thumbs down. This is the final one. It's, it, to me, it's kind of like if it is your thing, more power to you. But it's kind of like you are very limited and you're just going to be banging your head against the wall trying to accomplish things that you normally do accomplish. And, for me, when I play Skyrim, the biggest parts are crafting. Crafting are big part. Alchemy is a big part. Going out, leveling, and looting is a big part of it. This mod list is not for looters. 100% not for looters. 100% not for crafters. Because you can't carry all the stuff back to do the crafting with. The need for the books, and again, like right now, I still can't do any serious crafting until I, gain experience to go to the next level. Well, guess what? I can't do anything. I can't enhance my gear. I don't have the money. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have anything to make. Right? We almost got beat by a spider. We almost got killed. We did get killed by a spider, and we almost got killed the second time, but luckily a giant came across and saved us. And what was I able to carry back with me to make things, to enhance anything? Nothing. And then what's very daunting is I got 6 experience so far, and I need to get to 173. I've gained 6 experience in almost 3 hours of gameplay. I've died more than battles and in fights that I've won. And again, like I said, there's just so if you're asking me if I recommend this list, absolutely not. But some people, this may be exactly the list they enjoy. They like. This is the type of game they like. To me, it pushes Skyrim way farther away from what it was intended or what it was supposed to be from the beginning. And again, like I said, I have nothing against Requiem. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite lists is Ars, and Ars is Requiem based. Versum is Requiem based. And I enjoy the heck out of those lists. So it's not Requiem. And I think, like I said, I think it's a combination of Requiem and the 3BFTweaks and, the economy and, the lack of survival. And then even though like I said, we do have survival, but again, the food, right, doesn't do anything. Right? So we stay hungry. So it's a fail. It's a major fail for survival. But then it's just very possible that the game wasn't intended to be played with survival mode. So if you're a survival person, right, then then I'm gonna say maybe this list isn't for you either. Because you can't play it that way. And then the other point is here. I mean, you got no warmth rating for the fur cloak. The warmth rating for the fur cuirass is severely nerfed. Right? A fur cuirass normally is at 54, so it's halved. Right? The gloves are the same. I don't know why the cuirass is less. So, well, I don't know. So, okay, guys. So you know the drill. So right now, leave a like, comment. Let me know. Let me know if you tried this list or you're interested in trying this list, and let me know basically all the things that you can tell me I'm full of crap, right? All the negatives that I have pointed out in this list. You're like, well, it's not such a big deal. It's cool, and we can agree to disagree on that. And again, because of the type of player I am, I'm cold. What the f am I supposed to do about it? Right? There's nothing I can do about it. Right? You have the warmth value of my fur, and you basically don't give me any credit for the cloak I'm wearing. So there you have it. But the biggest thing you can do to help out the channel, the one thing that's really going to mean the most, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get ourselves, we're in the final push to get ourselves to our first 1,000 subscribers, and anything you can do to help that out is greatly appreciated. It will truly help out the channel. It will ensure that the channel keeps going and that we can put out more content like this. Remember, we are focused mainly on Bethesda games, right? Skyrim, Fallout, and Starfield. I do have a video out for my first 2 hours in Crimson Desert. I may follow that up. I actually like the fighting so far in Crimson Desert, if that says anything. But I do think it needs to be kind of, for me right now, it's just a button mashing. But it does have combos and things like that, but that might be a little bit more than I can deal with. So, again, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.